Sharp Came here, coming at you on another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been to Japan. I lived in Japan for 4 years. And, I talk about my travels, my experiences, my wheeling and dealings with women in Japan and even here in America. And there's one thing that you must know if you're going to live in Japan. I mean, if you go on a vacation to Japan, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? You're going to be there for a short time, you're out of there. But if you're going to live in Japan, it's absolutely something. It's something that you must know. And I had somebody left a comment in one of my videos, and I didn't necessarily want to talk about this, what I'm about to tell you, but it's very important, and it's something that I reflected upon once I saw the comment, because I didn't mention it in any of my other videos. But, there's different types of Japanese people in Japan. And, once I really reflect on my experience and what happened while I was there, and, it took me 3 years for me to really start having a good time and adapting to the lifestyle in Japan and really meeting people that could understand where I was coming from. It took me 3 years, man. 3 years to do that shit. By the time I got comfortable in Japan, it was time for me to leave. You know what I mean? So your experience in Japan is dictated upon the people you meet and who you hang around and who you spend most of the time with. Now, see, in Japan, it's like this. It's a very broad landscape of people. So you got the foreigners. You got people that came there from all over the world. They came there for a job, came there for, maybe they start some type of business. They got married and came there. Maybe they got married to a Japanese girl, or maybe they got married to a Japanese guy. So you got those type of people. And then you got the people that were born there, but their family tree stems from somewhere else. Like, for example, you have Vietnamese people that were born and raised there, Koreans, Indians, Brazilians, people from Laos, people from Thailand, people from places on the continent of Asia that I never heard of. You even have Chinese people there. Well, Chinese people are everywhere. But you have people that were born there, and their family lineage, their family tree, goes back to where their family came from. And they speak Japanese. That's the only language they speak. So you have Koreans that's there. Excuse me. So you might meet a Korean girl that's from Japan, born and raised, and she speak Japanese. That's it. She don't speak no other language. She might speak English, but I doubt it. So you have those type of people there too. And then when it comes to Japanese people, you have the working class. They just do what they do. Just work their job. Some of them, most of them is struggling, especially if they live in a city, big cities. Most of them are struggling. Uh, a small percentage of them are okay, and the top 5% is doing pretty well. It sounds like America. Yeah. And then you have, I guess you would say the, I would say the older people, older Japanese people. You know, they think about the war, history. Um, they have a lot of honor. You know, they they want things to stay the way it is. They don't want to change anything. You know, so you have those types of people. You know, and then you have the another group of people where it's like the traditional Japanese people, where they're very traditional. They eat right, eat um, organic food. You know, they don't go to fast food spots. They don't live in the city. They live in the country. Live in the smaller towns. A lot of these people live in the mountains. A lot of those people that live in the mountains, they tend to be very like this. People that live in the mountains are like this. Very dark skinned people. You know what I mean? If you get my drift. So these are the traditional people. And then you have the younger people, which is what some people might call the modern Japanese people, where they like working their corporate job. You know, some of them like hip hop. Some of them follow pop culture. You know, they a lot of them is just wilding. You know, a lot of these motherfuckers just wilding. You know, they're in the pop culture. A lot of them tend to travel. They'll go to Hawaii. Hawaii, that's like a given. Damn near every Japanese person, damn near every Japanese young person, I would say, goes to Hawaii at least once. Even old people, because Hawaii is very close, and there's always some deals on flights. You know, I think Hawaii is like, I think it's like a 2-hour flight if I'm not mistaken. You know, probably yeah. I think it's like a 2-hour flight from Japan to Hawaii. So, you know, these people are in the pop culture and everything. And then you have the, what some people call, what I call the group of Japanese people that goes against the grain. They don't like what's going on in society. They don't agree with a lot of stuff that's going on in society. And some people, you might hear people mention this name. They call them the Japanese Yakuza, right? Which is a mob organization, really. But you don't hear a lot of people talk about them in Japan because they're afraid of them. You know, they I mean, they're very organized. You know, if you live in Japan, you might never meet any of these people. You might never see them. You know, unless you go to like a CD bar or something like that, or a spot where they hang out at. But you probably will never know, even if you walk past one of the guys or girls. Now, I met a lot of women that were associated with Japanese Yakuza. And they basically don't follow the status quo in a nutshell. That's it. They don't follow the status quo at all. They don't live like anybody else. They don't follow the rules like anybody else in Japan. They go against the grain. No status quo, none whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they got more clout, more power than the government in Japan. And a lot of Japanese people are not going to say that. As a matter of fact, it's going to be some Japanese people that's going to see this video more than likely. And they're not going to like it. It's going to be some thumbs down on this motherfucker, you know. And you know they do a lot of good, and they do some bad too. And it's a very structured organization. I'm talking like they're 4 or 5 levels deep. I'm talking they organize like the military, organized like that, organized like a big corporation, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. They're organized like that, you know. And see, I didn't really start having fun until I started meeting a lot of women that were associated with this group. And they usually, most business, I'm going to put it like this. Most businesses that you see in Japan, they pretty much have shares in that company or that business. So if you go to a club, they probably got shares in that. Massage parlor, they run pretty much everything. Massage parlors, clubs, restaurants, hotels, you name it. Like I said, they're bigger than the government. I'm talking like, I've never seen any other organization so organized except outside of the military. I've never seen any organization, whether it's organized crime or whatever. I've never seen no group, organization just disorganized. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really start having fun and enjoying myself until I met a lot of these girls and guys. So my point of doing this video is to tell you that if you don't get with the right people, if you choose to live in Japan, you're not going to have a good experience. If you're hanging around the working class Japanese people, you're probably not going to have a good experience. I'm just telling you how it is. You know, I'm not saying you got to join their organization at all, because you're not allowed to join and get involved. You're a foreigner, so you're not allowed to. You're not going to be allowed to. Even if you tried, it's not going to happen anyway. But I mean, they're just regular. I'm not going to say they're regular people, but they're not going to bother you. You're a foreigner. They don't really want to be bothered with you. They might be friends with you, but you know, here's the deal. I didn't know who they were until months, years down the line. You know, because when you first meet people, they don't really tell you everything anyway. Especially in Japan. Japan is like big. They don't, you know, they're good at hiding shit. So go figure. So, you know, and you know, they usually have the big ass tattoo, the dragon on the back. That's a sign, you know, that they part of the Japanese Yakuza. The big ass dragon you might see on their bodies or on their back or something like that. Or they'll have some other tattoo too, you know. But it's going to be very noticeable. You know, they're not going to be able to hide it, really. Because, you know, most Japanese people, getting tattoos in Japan is like forbidden. So if you see somebody with a tattoo, you know that they're into some other shit. But at the same time, it's kind of like a gift and a curse because you I was taught that I should stay away from certain people, but at the same time, I mean, living in a place like Japan, it's kind of like, the working class Japanese people, they don't want to tell you shit. They kind of want to hide every goddamn thing and make it seem like what I'm saying is not true based on my experience being over there and me being mistreated. So the people that everyone told me that people that the Japanese people, the Japanese people that's involved in the Japanese yakuza, when I started telling them my experiences and my stories being in Japan, they embraced me. They understood what I was talking about because a lot of these people have traveled. But the working class Japanese people, whenever I told them my experiences, they weren't trying to hear that shit, man. So it was frustrating. So I say that to say that at the end of the day, your experience living in Japan is going to be based upon the people you hang around. Whether you hang around with somebody that's into organized crime or regular working class Japanese people, it's up to you. Or whether you hang around with other foreigners that's just like you, it's up to you. Or whether you hang around the younger Japanese people, or you hang around the people that's from other cultures, that's born and raised there, it's up to you. But you gotta do what you gotta do that's best for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to do this video. So if you like what you heard, check out my blog, truejoyrelationships.com, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, Shark Games out. Peace.